Lesson 267. Finish what God started. Have you ever felt excited to pursue a deeper relationship with God, only to feel discouraged when the journey became harder than you expected? You're not alone. The path to spiritual growth is filled with trials, but God promises to complete the good work He began in you if you have the courage to keep going. In Philippians 1:6, we're reminded of a powerful truth. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ. Yet, for many believers, the excitement of starting a spiritual journey often fades when faced with challenges. When reality sets in and the testing of character begins, it's easy to lose hope. But what if those very trials are part of God's plan to refine you? The Christian walk is not a sprint but a marathon. There will be moments of doubt, times of intense struggle, and seasons when giving up feels like the easiest option. But every challenge has a purpose, to shape you into the person God created you to be. The more you persevere, the closer you get to living in the fullness of His promises. Let's explore why finishing what you've started is essential, how trials play a role in your spiritual development, and how you can anchor yourself in God's truth when the journey gets tough. Pursuing righteousness is not a smooth road. When you pray for virtues like patience, forgiveness, or humility, God often answers by allowing situations that stretch and test those very qualities. Ask for patience, and you may face delays. Seek forgiveness, and you might encounter more people who hurt you. But this isn't punishment, it's preparation. God refines us through these trials, strengthening our character and deepening our faith. Consider the example of Joseph. He had dreams of greatness, but his path to fulfillment was filled with betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. Yet, through every trial, God was shaping him for the purpose He had ordained. By the time Joseph rose to power in Egypt, he had the humility, wisdom, and resilience to lead with grace and mercy. His hardships weren't detours, they were necessary steps in God's divine plan. He stood firm in one truth, the one I want you to have today. He said, "How then can I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" When you face hardship, remember that God is using those experiences to equip you for something greater. Each challenge is a chisel, refining you into His masterpiece. The process may be painful, but the result is priceless. Many believers start their spiritual journey with passion, but few see it through to the end. They miss out on the fullness of God's promises because they abandon the process. King David wrote, "I was young and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread." Psalm 37:25. David's confidence in God came from a lifetime of persistence. He endured hardships, but he pressed on and experienced the greatness of God as a result. The enemy often works hardest against those who are closest to a breakthrough. When you feel the most exhausted, discouraged, or tempted to quit, it might be because you're on the verge of a spiritual victory. Remember, the enemy's goal is to derail your faith, but God's promise is that He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:6. Every great figure in the Bible faced moments of doubt. Elijah, after calling down fire from heaven, fled in fear and wanted to die. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Yet, both went on to fulfill their divine purpose. The key difference: they didn't stay down. They rose again, leaning on God's grace to carry them forward. To reach spiritual maturity, you must step out of your own desires and fully into God's presence. This requires letting go of worldly promises and wholeheartedly seeking Him. Scripture assures us, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Jeremiah 29:13. It's easy to claim that living a sin-free life is impossible, but believing that is already a step in the wrong direction. True commitment means dedicating your time, energy, and strength to pursuing God daily, even when it's difficult. Spiritual endurance isn't built overnight. It's developed through consistent, intentional choices. Daily prayer, studying the Word, worship, and fellowship with other believers are vital. These practices anchor you in truth, making it harder for the enemy's lies to shake your faith. The more time you spend in God's presence, the more your heart aligns with His. Your desires shift from temporary pleasures to eternal treasures. You begin to see trials not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow closer to Him. You are capable of more than you can imagine, and your walk with God is not meant to be compared to anyone else's. God has uniquely crafted a purpose for you, and He promises to fulfill the deepest needs of your soul. Jesus Himself reminds us, "Do not let your hearts be troubled." John 14:1. When you trust in Him and keep moving forward, He will guide you to an abundant life filled with His goodness. Comparison is a thief of joy. Your journey is yours alone, handcrafted by the Creator. While it's encouraging to draw inspiration from others, remember that God's plan for you is as unique as your fingerprint. Trust that He knows exactly what you need and when you need it. Finishing what you've started requires unwavering courage. The road may be tough, but the reward is eternal. Hold on to God's promises, stay committed to seeking Him, and trust that He will complete the work He started in you. If you're feeling weary, take a moment today to pray. Ask God for strength to persevere and for eyes to see the purpose in your trials. Then, take one more step forward because you are closer to His promises than you think. Are you ready to recommit to your spiritual journey? Share one thing you'll do this week to seek God more intentionally. Let's encourage each other to finish strong. And remember, no matter how hard the journey gets, God is faithful. He will carry you through the storm and lead you into His marvelous light. You are closer to victory than you think, so keep going,